What's going on, Back Row Saints? We have a great show. Stay tuned. All right, so on today's episode, we're going to go and cover what happens when you start asking questions within the religious communities. And it doesn't have to be Christianity per se. Like it's all religions really. Welcome back. Today we're talking about the moment everything shifts. The moment you start asking questions, not out loud, not at first, just in your heads, those little ones like, why can I not get this? Why does this not make sense? Why am I so scared all the time? Why does God feel loving on Sunday but terrifying on Tuesday? And the biggest one of all, what if I don't believe this the way that I used to? That thought alone can make your stomach drop. And with me having surgeries and everything, like I said, I don't believe. I'm not a believer. I died a few months ago, whenever this airs, and I saw nothing. There was no angels. There was no demons. There was no heaven. There was no hell. It was just a void of eternal peace, and it was the most relaxed. There was no pain, no nothing. And after that, when I came to, I was relieved that I was right, but then I started thinking, I was like, but what if I was wrong? What if, like, all those questions come to be, but I have to tell myself that that's not your way of thinking anymore. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be scared if the devil is coming for you. Because in church cultures, like, questioning feels like betrayal. I remember I would ask my mom, be like, Mom, why does God need our worship? Why does God need our money? Why does God need all our time? And she would be hesitant at first, and she would be like, Zach, you can't ask questions because God has the answers. It was always a question answering a question. Why do you think God does this? Why do you think? It's not my opinion that I'm worried about. It's, I don't want to go to hell because you're scaring the absolute crap out of me. It felt illegal. And I remember the first time that I admitted to myself that something didn't add up. It was like, it felt illegal. I won't lie. It felt illegal. Like spiritually like illegal. Like the angels were sitting there taking notes. And that's how I feel. Like Elf on the Shelf. I feel like I was taught to believe that there was angels everywhere, encamped around those who believed. And I felt really awkward when I took showers. It was that stuff, man. It has a lasting effect even until this day. I have problems taking showers because I don't feel alone in the bathroom. But here's what's wild. Questions are normal. They're human, but the environment that we grew up in, questions were dangerous. And faith meant certain. Like certainty. And certainty meant never flinching. But real adults, they knew something. Certainty is usually the insecurity wearing a suit. The loudest people in the room aren't always the most confident. 9 times out of 10, they're the most insecure and they're ones doing the bad shit. Sometimes they're the most afraid. When you start questioning a few things, some things happen. First, you try harder. You pray more. You read more. You double down. You You try to become that model Christian because in your head you're like, nope, nope, this ain't a God. This ain't a God. But because surely that problem is you. It come from you. It couldn't be the system. It couldn't be the teaching. It couldn't be the preacher in the pulpit. It couldn't be your mama and your daddy. It couldn't be the fear-based messaging. Oh man, don't even get me started. I remember seeing pastors preach fire and brimstone telling me that I'm going to hell and then go out to eat and say the S word or other things. It's and then I told myself it had to be my heart. And then it had to be my thoughts and everything, and then because that's what I was told. And what happens when trying harder doesn't fix it? So you're sitting there and you're this horrible Christian and God doesn't love you and you're feeling like the most crappiest of crap. I don't know if I can say that or not, but here we go. And everyone around you is wearing these masks, like this facade, and you think that they're being these amazing Christians and you're going to hell because you don't believe that sister so-and-so said this or spoke in tongues. And those people are still in the comment section saying, oh, on Facebook, God is good. God's going to heal you. They're still posting Bible verses. They're still leading worship. And I'm over here Googling things at 1 a.m. like it's contraband. Like under a blanket and a flashlight. Well, I don't need a flashlight because it's a phone. But you know what I mean. But here's my turning point. One day you realize asking questions doesn't make you evil. Because in school they say there's no such thing as a dumb question. Only dumb answers. They encourage you in school to ask questions, to seek and be thirsty for knowledge. But the minute that you do in religion, then you're a bad person. You're a devil worshiper. You're a Satan. I wish I had $1 for every time that these people told me that I'm going to hell just because of my tattoos or because of the way that I play music, the music that I play. It's unhinged. Now, asking questions doesn't make you evil. It makes you honest. And honesty is not the enemy of truth. It's the doorway to it. Now, let me say something clearly. This podcast isn't about mocking people. It's not about tearing anybody down. It's about trying to process what shaped us. Because if you don't process it, it'll process you. It shows up in anxiety and guilt and how you parent. Oh my God. Parenting, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was when I was deconstructing and trying to rid myself. That's the wrong phrasing, but trying to undo what was done for so many years. I had a short temper. I felt broken, betrayed, and so lost. And I was trying to parent my 2-year-old, and that was definitely a time. Short temper. I didn't understand. I still don't understand why parents did that to us. And I'm sorry, but if you need a friend, you have one in me. And a lot of it had a lot of effect on young people's, like my generation's, how they see themselves, like self-worth. Everything was just downhill. Deconstruction isn't rebellion. And I want you to know that, like, you're not alone. We like, I know We've been there. I've been there. You want to talk? If like, I would love to hear your story. Absolutely love. Um, for a lot of us, it was survival. It If you didn't act a certain way, then you got beat at home. Like me, if I asked questions, my dad would literally beat me with a belt. If I said a word that he didn't understand, he would beat me with anything that he could get his hands on. Um, and then I started playing music, and I started playing secular, is what they call it. I love the blues. I've been in love with the blues since I was a little boy, and I wanted to play the blues, and I got beat over playing the blues. It's it's the time it's time that you got to choose your mental health over fear, and it's integrity over pretending, peace over performance. I remember growing up, my dad had a license plate, a bumper plate that said "Men of Integrity," and meanwhile he was beating the absolute shat out of me and my sister. It's, it's just it's hard, but there's a beautiful part to it. When the fear starts fading, you realize something. You're still you. You didn't turn into a monster. You didn't lose your soul. You didn't go to hell. You just stopped living terrified. That's not evil. That's called growth. And if you're in the middle of if you're in the middle of that right now, questioning, untangling, rebuilding, you're not crazy. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're becoming. And that's allowed. This is Back Row Stories, and we're just getting started.